That's wobble. That's wobble, y'all. That's wobble. At least she out. Top of the day. It is Friday, y'all. We've had 2 days of rest. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I thoroughly did. I did a bunch of nothing. I rested. I truly rested. I really did. All right, hold on. Those little spots. My glasses. Can y'all hear me good? I forgot to take this earpiece. I'm gonna take this earpiece out. Sometimes it gives me problems. Okay, y'all. Tonight, we'll be going into the third day of unleavened bread. Unleavened bread began the day after Passover. Passover began sundown Tuesday night, April the 7th. And Feast of Unleavened Bread began the next night, sundown, day 1. Last night was day 2. Tonight we're going into day 3. Remember, unleavened bread for this entire 7-day feast. We eat bread with no leaven. If you eat bread, there's no leaven in it. And there should not be any leaven or yeast found in our homes. In a couple places in Scripture, it says, yeast shall not be found in the entire land of my people during this feast. But like I said the other day, I said a couple times, since a lot of our people technically, well, some of my people do, but, he said an entire land of all my people, what we have control over our homes, our vehicles, our businesses is considered our land. Some people actually have acres and acres of land, but he said in all their land, in all my people's land, there shall be found no yeast during this feast. So this feast ends next Tuesday. Actually, it'll completely end Wednesday evening at sundown. So the 7th day of this feast begins Tuesday at sundown. Sundown Tuesday to sundown Wednesday. And we'll be done with that feast. Remember, first day and last day of this feast is a no work day. So, and then we're going to another Sabbath here. It's on top of the regular weekly Sabbath. So, I got to hop in for one day, say hey, do a reading, and then we're going to be out for another day, for another Sabbath. Then I come back Sunday morning, right? All right, y'all. So today is 118. Day 118. We're reading 1 Chronicles 17, 18, and 19. The reading is pretty short. I'm going to go ahead and read it, and then I want to mention something real quick, just in case people are not aware about why we need to keep the commandments of Yah. Some people think, let me read, and then I'll talk about it just for a real quick second while we close. All right, 1 Chronicles chapter 17. 1 Chronicles chapter 17. Now it came to pass, as David sat in his house, that David said to Nathan the prophet, Lo, I dwell in the house of cedars, but the ark of the covenant of Yahuah remaineth under curtains. Then Nathan said unto David, Do all that is in thine heart, for Yahuah is with thee. And it came to pass the same night that the word of Yahuah came to Nathan, saying, Go and tell my servant David, Thus saith Yahuah, Thou shalt not build me a house to dwell in, for I have not dwelled in a house since the day that I brought up Israel. For I have not dwelt in a house since the day that I brought up Israel unto this day, but I have gone from tent to tent, and from one tabernacle to another. Wheresoever I have walked with all Israel, spake I a word to any of the judges of Israel, whom I commanded to feed my people, saying, Why have you not built me a house of cedars? Now therefore thus shalt thou say unto my servant David, Thus saith Yahuah of hosts, I took thee from the sheepcote, even from following the sheep, that thou shouldest be ruler over my people Israel. And I have been with thee whithersoever thou hast walked, and have cut off all thy enemies from before thee, and have made thee a name like the name of great men that are in the earth. Also I will ordain a place for my people Israel, and will plant them, and they shall dwell in their place, and shall be moved no more, neither shall the children of wickedness waste them any more, as at the beginning, and since the time that I commanded judges to be over my people. Moreover, I will subdue all thine enemies. Furthermore, I will tell thee that Yahuah Furthermore, I tell thee that Yahuah will build thee an house. And it shall come to pass, when thy days be expired, that thou must go to be with thy fathers, and I will raise up thy seed after thee, which shall be of thy sons, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build me a house, and I will establish his throne forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. And I will not take my mercy away from him, as I took it away from him that was before thee. But I will settle him in my house, and my kingdom forever, and his throne shall be established forevermore. According to all these words and according to this vision, so did Nathan speak unto David. Okay, so if you didn't catch on to this, remember what he just said to King David. Remember how King Solomon acted a fool, and he turned away from him by disobeying Yah, by taking all these wives unto himself, and then he started sacrificing to their gods, and they turned his heart away from him. And Yahuah said, because of the promise that I made to my servant, your father, King David, I'm not going to snatch the kingdom away from you during your lifetime, but I'm going to do it in your sons. And I'm going to read this again. Listen to what he said to King David. And you can tell this is what he means. He said, because I'm establish your kingdom through your son forever. And that was the promise that Yahuah had made to King David. And that's why he didn't completely strip all the tribes away from King Solomon. And he left them one, which was the tribe of Benjamin. All right, here, I'm going to read that again. Verse 11 of 1 Chronicles chapter 17. And it shall come to pass, when thy days be expired, that thou must go to be with thy fathers, and I will raise up thy seed after thee, which shall be of thy sons, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build me a house, and I will establish his throne forever. We know that's King Solomon, because King Solomon built a house, and he said, I will establish his throne forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son, and I will not take my mercy away from him. See, he's not going to take it away. He left him one tribe. Remember, if you thinking you pulling all this stuff together, you can put it together as you read it. I will be his father, and he will be my son, and I will not take my mercy away from him, as I took it from him that was before thee. But I will settle him in my house and in my kingdom forever, and his throne shall be established forevermore. According to all these words and according to all the visions, so did Nathan speak unto David. And David the king came and sat before Yahuah and said, Who am I, O Yahuah? And what is my house that thou hast brought me hitherto? And yet this was a small thing in thine eyes, O Yahuah, for thou hast also spoken of thy servant's house for a great while to come, and hast regarded me according to the estate of man of high degree, O Yahuah. What can David speak more to thee for the honor of thy servant? For thou knowest thy servant. O Yahuah, for thy servant's sake, and according to thine own heart, thou hast done all this greatness and making known all these great things. O Yahuah, there is none like thee, neither is there any God beside thee, according to all that we have heard with our ears. And what one nation in the earth is like thy people Israel, whom Yahuah went to redeem to be his own people, to make thee a name of greatness and terribleness by driving out the nations from before thy people, whom thou hast redeemed out of Egypt. For thy people Israel didst thou make thine own people forever, and thou, Yahuah, became their God. Therefore now, Yahuah, let the thing that thou hast spoken concerning thy servant and concerning his house be established forever, and do as thou hast said. Let it even be established, that thy name may be magnified forever, saying, Yahuah of hosts is the God of David thy servant, be established before thee. For thou, O Yahuah, hast told thy servant that thou wilt build him a house. Therefore thy servant has found in his heart to pray before thee. And now, Yahuah, thou art God, and hast promised this goodness unto thy servant. Now therefore let it please thee to bless the house of thy servant, that it may be before thee forever, for thou art blessed, O Yahuah, and it shall be blessed forever. 1 Chronicles chapter 18. Now after this it came to pass that David smote the Philistines and subdued them, and took Gath and her towns out of the hand of the Philistines. And he smote Moab, and the Moabites became David's servants and brought gifts. And David smote Hadarezer, king of Zobah, unto Hamath, and he went to establish his dominion by the river Euphrates. And David took from him 1,000 chariots and 7,000 horsemen and 20,000 footmen. David also hold all the chariot horses. They up. And David also hold all the chariot horses, but reserved of them 100 chariots. And when the Syrians of Damascus came to help Hadarezer, king of Zobah, David slew of the Syrians 22,000 men. Then David put garrisons in Syria, Damascus, and the Syrians became David's servants and brought gifts. Thus Yahuah preserved David whithersoever he went. And David took the shields of gold that were on the servants of Hadarezer and brought them to Jerusalem. Likewise, from Tibhath and from Chun, cities of Hadarezer, brought David very much brass, wherewith Solomon had made the brazen sea, and the pillars and the vessels of brass. Now when Tau, king of Hamath, heard how David had smitten all the hosts of Hadarezer, king of Zobah, he sent to Hadoram the son to King David to inquire of his welfare and to congratulate him because he had fought against Hadarezer and smitten him. For Hadarezer had war with Tau, and with him all manner of vessels of gold and silver and brass. Them also King David dedicated unto Yahuah with the silver and the gold that he brought from all these nations, from Edom and from Moab and from the children of Ammon and from the Philistines and from Amalek. Moreover, Abishai the son of Zeruiah slew of the Edomites in the valley of Salt 18,000, and he put garrisons in Edom, and all the Edomites became David's servants. Thus Yahuah preserved David whithersoever he went. So David reigned over all Israel and executed judgment and justice among all his people. And Joab the son of Zeruiah was over the host, and Jehoshaphat the son of Ahilud recorder. And Zadok the son of Ahitub and Abimelech the son of Abathar were the priests, and Shaushal was scribe. And Benaiah son of Jehoiada was over the Cherethites and the Pelethites, and the sons of David were chief about the king. Last chapter for the day, y'all. 1 Chronicles chapter 19. Now it came to pass after this that Nahash, the king of the children of Ammon, died, and his sons reigned in his stead. And David said, I will show kindness to Hanan, the son of Nahash, because his father showed kindness to me. And David sent messengers to comfort him concerning his father. So the servants of David came into the land of the children of Ammon to Hanan to comfort him. But the princes of the children of Ammon said to Hanan, Thinkest thou that David doth honor thy father, that he hath sent comforters unto thee? Are not his servants come unto thee for to search and to overthrow and to spy out the land? Wherefore Hanan took David's servants and shaved them and cut off their garments in the midst of their... Wait a bit. Okay. Wherefore Hanan took David's servants and shaved them and cut off their garments in the midst hard by their buttocks and sent them away. Okay, they cut the butt out of their garments. The back, like say if you had a long shirt where your butt was at, they cut that out, so it's showing their butt. Okay. And they cut their beards off, which was a bad thing. You know what, I had a dream some years ago. Before all this man beard stuff started coming in, I had a dream where I saw, it was like this big picture of a land. It was like it was being repopulated, and something that stuck out, it said the men would begin to grow their beards back. That's a big thing in y'all's kingdom about the men and their beards. And I've been thinking about that dream, like every time I see the men and their beards growing out, it baffles me. Mind you, men have been growing their beards out, especially Israel, the black men and stuff, they had beards, but it's like become a thing in the last few years, you know. But I dreamt about that years ago. I just thought about that when I read this, and I thought about that dream. But yeah, it's something about Yahuah and his priests and his men and their beards growing back before, you know, they come to serve, and they, you know, that's a conversation for another day. Okay, verse 5. Then there were certain that told David how the men were served, and he sent to meet them, for the men were greatly ashamed. And the king said, Tarry at Jericho until your beards be grown, then return. And when the children of Ammon saw that they had made themselves odious to David, Hanan and the children of Ammon sent 1,000 talents of silver to hire them chariots and horsemen out of Mesopotamia, and out of Syria, Maacah, and out of Zobah. Hey, shh, don't come down here being loud. I heard y'all up there.
Crazy games.
Chill 1 second. I need you to go wash your face and brush your teeth, son. Go ahead and come back.
After that, can I get on your laptop?
Go wash your face and brush your teeth. And we'll talk about it in a minute. So they hired 30 and 2,000 chariots, and the king of Maacah and his people who came and pitched before Medeba. And the children of Ammon gathered themselves together from their cities and came to battle. And when David heard of it, he sent Joab and all the hosts of the mighty men. And the children of Ammon came out and put the battle in array before the gate of the city. And the kings that were come were by themselves in the field. Now when Joab saw that the battle was set against him before and behind, he chose out of all the choice of Israel and put them in array against the Syrians. And the rest of the people he delivered unto the hand of Abishai his brother, and they set themselves in array against the children of Ammon. And he said, If the Syrians be too strong for me, then thou shalt help me. But if the children of Ammon be too strong for thee, then I will help thee. Be of good courage, and let us behave ourselves valiantly for our people and for the cities of our God, and let Yahuah do that which is good in his sight. And Joab and the people that were with him drew nigh before the Syrians unto the battle, and they fled before him. And when the children of Ammon saw that the Syrians were fled, they likewise fled before Abishai his brother, and entered into the city. Then Joab came to Jerusalem, and when the Syrians saw that they were put to the worst before Israel, they sent messengers and drew forth the Syrians that were beyond the river. And Shobach, the captain of the host of Hadad-Rezer, went before them. And it was told David, and he gathered all of Israel and passed over Jordan, and came upon them and set the battle in array against them. So David had put the battle in array against the Syrians. They fought with him. But the Syrians fled before Israel, and David slew of the Syrians 7,000 men which fought in chariots, and 40,000 footmen, and killed Shobach, the captain of the host. And when the servants of Hadad-Rezer saw that they were put to the worst before Israel, they made peace with David and became his servants. Neither would the Syrians help the children of Ammon anymore. And that, my beautiful people, is our reading for today. That was 1 Chronicles 17, 18, and 19. It is day 118. Friday, April the 10th, 2020. And I think I forgot to say the date when I first started the video, but there you go. It's April the 10th, 2020, Friday. All right, y'all. So what I wanted to say, I was going to name the title of it that, but I figured I'd just make a mention of it. What some people don't realize, okay, what's disturbing me is I don't really quite know, right? See, well, I can see. Okay, so you remember how when coronavirus first started, I was like, wait a minute, I don't see no black people dying from this. And I asked a couple of y'all when y'all told me y'all saw different people. What I was like, was they white or was they black? You know, so I was like, it seems like none of our people are being touched by it. You know, so I was like, well, I was like, that's interesting. So I've been watching it until recently. It seems like now, according to the news clippings, it's like, I ain't gonna say what the news is making it seem like is that mostly black people are catching it and dying from it. Now, my sister works in a hospital, and she said she's seen nothing. They have a COVID unit in her hospital, and she said she's seen nothing but white people die from it. Like, black people may come in and be tested, may test positive, but you know, it clears up. The symptoms don't really bother them that bad. Now, in the news, I noticed, I was like, Father, something's off. You know, I said, it just could be. It just could be that what my sister's seeing in her hospital is, it's just, I don't know. But I did see, like, 3 black pastors. I posted a link yesterday. Like, 3 black, well, actually, at the guy on the end, he not white. He, like, mixed with something maybe. But he, like, if he black, he, like, a real light-skinned brother. He looked like he black, but he could be, like, mixed with Mexican or something like that. But he real, like, he more light-skinned than me, you know. But I'm noticing the pastors, Scripture says, begin in the largest cities socioeconomically. Yeah, you know, but I have begun to notice, and there are a couple friends that I know, we're Facebook friends, not just Facebook friends, but I know them, I've known them in real life. They have family members, they got sick. Robert's cousin recovered from it. Yeah, see, our people, they're recovering from it. It's few of them that's dying, but the ones that seem like, even the ones they put on the news, something just seems weird to me. I can't quite put my hand on it, but even I don't know that I posted it. It was kind of, I was debating if I was going to post, and I probably will post it today simply because I'm about to tell you about it now. Even in China China is actually evicting all the black people. Like, because, and they say it's because of the virus, and they're telling the landlords. It was heartbreaking to watch that video, because someone recording it, someone making pleas, because someone come from Africa, they're making pleas to send somebody or ship a plane or something to get them. They're like literally going door to door, finding black people who live in China and are evicting them. They're saying that they're the cause of this COVID virus and they need to get out of our country. So now you have this big mass of black people who have been pulled out of their apartments and put on the street, and they're kind of like huddling together. And it's very few Chinese people, and you see it. It was a couple Chinese people, kind of like at night or whatever. They're bringing them blankets and stuff, and maybe some food. But it was heartbreaking. I'm like, what in the world? I was like, but it like there are no. Could be that spark to the wood. Could be, Leisha. A lot of stuff was going through my mind. I'm just like, I'm like, this is weird. You know, so I'm trying to wrap my mind around it while I'm looking at it. It's like, so I wanted to bring it up. I just wanted to share it with y'all if y'all didn't know that. I'm like, but they're getting like quite vicious over there. Even some of the like one lady, she was really nice. Her landlord was nice. He didn't want to like drag her out. He sent her an email. He said, no, he sent her a text. She screenshot the text, and you will see it when I post the video. Hold on, boo. She said her landlord said that she had to be out like in a day or by like tomorrow or something like that. And she said she never had any issues out of her landlord. She was like, why? What's the problem? I paid my rent. And he just put in all capital letters, danger, you know, because of what they're saying about the black people there, and they're making them kick all their black tenants out. And it was really heartbreaking, y'all. I had like to pause it for a second because I started tearing up. I'm like, Father, why? You know, so even now, you know, it did something to me. So, but even there was another article that I read, and it's saying, and even I was watching the update yesterday, and the president, they were saying that it's like they're trying to relabel COVID. They said now it's affecting more so the black population. I guess they kind of put it in because of like the black population in a lot of places where people they may be like less fortunate than others. The close quarters that they live in, like they didn't say ghettos, but we know they're talking about like ghettos and places where like what state funded housing, what's the word for it? The state funded housing communities for where a lot of black people populated, you know, they said it's like running rampant through there. And I just see the news here is translating it as a black people are Nikki said the news here is translating it as black people aren't. The more in totality, it's the more socioeconomic. They don't trust the government, hence they don't believe, and not getting treatment until the last minute. They're also saying with diabetes, hypertension, that's right, asthma, obesity, and other underlying conditions. You right, yeah, I meant, yeah, thanks, Tara, Section 8, less fortunate, Nikki, yes, that's what I meant, because also, and that's kind of true, because our people in those areas, less fortunate, they do, their health is a little more compromised, with the hypertension, the diabetes and stuff, the poor eating habits. And we know with the poor eating habits, it compromise the immune system. So you make yourself susceptible to it. So you could get it and test positive. But we tend to recover a lot quicker and a lot more than other people. But it's just, and I get what they're saying, but it's there. Tara, they didn't actually use the word ghettos. I said ghettos because I was trying to figure out the word. I think you said it, Section 8. That's what I meant, Section 8. I was trying to think of the word, but it wasn't coming to me. But Twabble TT. But it's like it's I don't know. It seems like they kind of I don't know the word. It's like they're trying to make the focus now like this is really affecting black people. It's from what I've seen. I'm like, I'm still looking at it, y'all. I'm just trying to wrap my head around what it is that they're trying to say. But I get what they're saying in the overpopulated areas, socioeconomically, the people who live in like the Section 8 housing and stuff because they're so close together, all that stuff, the ratio to population and more. Right. So it's weird, y'all. but I kind of actually jumped into that. I was saying something, but it's weird. I'm gonna share a couple things up here, but okay, the comment that I wanted to make, but like I said, I kind of hopped on to this right here, is about keeping the commands, which it actually led into that, but especially with our people, So the purpose for keeping y'all's commands, i.e. we get to stay in the land, but also it keeps us, let me see if I can explain it a different way. Okay. Let me explain this. Okay, so early on in life, when I used to just only, and I'm going to use myself, when I only used to just read the New Testament, there was like, I ain't going to say I had like a religious spirit, because I was still always kind of quiet, calm, kept to myself. But it seemed like, you've read that scripture, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. It was something like that. Although I still live right, and I wasn't the type, no, I said, wait, I wasn't the type of person just be like, go to church and then live a different life. Even back then when I was still just reading the New Testament, I was still doing my best to live a pure and holy life, right? But it's just, I just read the New Testament. I just figured, because I used to hear, Old Testament is done away and it's all here, everything is fulfilled here, whatever. But it was always something missing. I started questioning. I was like, okay, well, where was all these miracles and stuff we read about, the power and all this? I was like, I don't see it. I see people acting a fool and stuff. And over the years, I constantly thought about it, and I would pray about it, and I just really didn't understand. But every time Yahuah would talk to me, he'd give me a scripture, and it'd always be from the Old Testament and the books of the prophets, Jeremiah, Isaiah, especially Jeremiah and Isaiah, and because it's a couple scriptures. Stop it. It's a couple scriptures that are almost verbatim in Isaiah and Jeremiah, and I would get those all the time. I even had a dream about, I was watching a game show. You ever seen the game show Jeopardy, and how they type on their little thing, but they got the little panel in the front where you can see their answer, and the host of the show can see their answer in front of their little podium? I had a dream like that, and it had a scripture up there, So I was like, what? I would get the same like scriptures over and over. So, excuse me. But the whole point of saying that is, if you just stay in the New Testament, you kind of fall into that form of godliness. Not saying everybody, but this is what I'm saying, like that form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, because the power comes back here. You don't even learn how to live like a complete holy life until you begin to read back here and understand what that is. Because this New Testament tells you to live a holy life, but Old Testament teaches you how to live a holy life. And if you follow and heed the instructions back here, because all of this is relevant for today. I mean, like I said before, there are some commandments that you hear people say 613 commandments or whatever, but we know that those don't always apply to everybody, because you may not be called to be a priest, so those commandments don't apply to you. You may be a woman, so the commandments that apply to a man don't apply to a woman, and vice versa. Some apply to families, some apply to employers, some apply to employees. Even the sacrifices back here, those are suspended because there is no temple to offer sacrifices in. But if you would read through it, you would clearly understand those things. But there are still things in here that are valuable and still active today, and it literally will help you line your life up, to where you, like, if you're like a religious person and you're somebody that you like to go back and forth with people and you do everything but curse them out, but you kind of like curse them out in a Christian way and be like, God bless you, and like going about your business, that's still just as bad, but what the Old Testament and the laws, it literally teaches you, and it cleanses you up, and it teaches you how to be a solid, level-headed person if you apply it. Not that you would be perfect, but that you will walk a life that's notable, and you take from your experiences, you learn from your experiences and from your mistakes and everything. If you apply what you read and the stories back here with the different kings and all the shenanigans that went on back here, there are lessons that you can take from that and apply today, So But that's what I want to say about the commandments. What people don't really understand about keeping y'all's commandments, they kind of just take the New Testament, new church teaching and chuck it all, it's done away with, so they never go back to see. But their lives are still, everybody out here, they calling on the name of Jesus and doing all this, but y'all still dying. Look, oh, here's a perfect one. People, and I'm going to go back to the comment what we were just talking about the COVID and black people. I'm going to kind of bring that together a little bit. So you have people in the New Testament church, like they have issues going on with their body or whatever, and they're believing y'all, and they're believing that they're healed and everything, and you need that. But you can't, it's like the scripture that says, faith without works is dead. You can't believe something and not line your life up to where your belief and your actions have to line up in order for something to happen. It's just like somebody, if they're believing y'all for bread or for a new job or for something, they can't be like, Father, I'm trusting you for a new job, but you don't do the work with going in and putting in an application for something or developing yourself with a new skill set for this particular job if you need to actually secure this position. If they call you in, if and when they call you in, you need to be able to prove that you actually can flow in this position, unless there's something there that can actually train you, for that position. But you can't just believe y'all for something and not actually do your part. And that's the thing. The New Testament is like it has the belief, but the Old Testament teaches you how to do your part. You can't separate the two. You can't separate faith and works. You can't just do one and not have the other. You have to have both. You have to have faith and works. Some people say, oh, you think you're getting to heaven by your works? Like, you're completely dumb, because there's a combination. You have to have them together. Like, if you believe you're going to lose weight, you can't just walk around all day like, oh, I'm going to believe I'm going to lose weight, but you're not doing anything to change your weight. Like, you're not changing your eating habits. You're not exercising. That's foolishness. How is that ever going to work? Unless you're struck with some kind of sickness or something and you're losing weight because of the sickness, but then still you violated some other kind of rule because you've gotten sick somehow. Now, some things is onset, a lot of sickness is onset by our own foolishness. Any kind of thing, whatever, unless it's like a trauma, something that happened, like a car accident or something like that, most things we can control with our eating habits or what we do, what we allow ourselves to see. Here, we have control over all of those things. Most adults do. Children sometimes don't, but parents are in a place to kind of help guide them. And not all parents do a good job, and they may not know. They just teaching them how they learn. They just model what they learn or whatever. If they're not focused about their intentions on growth and making their body better, they just kind of just go with the flow. We're going to get some fast food, this and this, and before you know it, you got high blood pressure, low blood pressure, diabetes, and all kinds of stuff going on because of poor choices and not thinking and like planning ahead and doing and like controlling the things that we can control. So we kind of like get out of line. Okay. So now, real quick, back to let me read these comments real quick. I'm going to go back to the pastors that I brought up. They have always blamed stuff on our people. Why would they stop? Now, you got that right, Trina. Nikki said also because they're on the front line in the service industry and don't have the opportunity to work from home. So they are constantly coming in contact with people that you're right, Nikki. You got to think about it. They're still dealing with people in the public, their jobs, and carrying it home. They don't have a place to quarantine themselves. So it's running. You absolutely right. You're right. Leave me alone with the weight because you described me to a T. See, Tara, I wasn't even trying to call you out. I literally said I need to lose weight while in a fast food drive-thru. That's funny. We've all done it. We've been there. We've done that. Okay, so back to the 3 black pastors that I mentioned or whatever. These are... No, wait. I told you stop. Okay, so Yahuah said... Okay, there's a lot of different things going on why COVID is running rampant through the earth, but it's here, it's running through the earth. Some people say man-made this, and that, there's a lot of different theories or whatever, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see that, and I know what Yahuah said, and, his prophets are saying, and I'm like, okay, we'll see what happened, but Yahuah said, let judgment begin, and let it begin with my house. So now I'm purposely watching what the church is doing. Now, definitely pray. You need to return to him, but you need to return to him and keep his commands. And these 3, matter of fact, one of these pastors, I think one of the pastors was in New Orleans at Mardi Gras or something or whatever. He was like a musician or something, he played. But he took his family down there, and COVID was already running. It was one of these 3 black pastors. with the that I posted. But like you got pastors like and our pastors, you know, it's like he like went down there with the whole mindset Jesus gonna protect me, but you should be quarantined, and now you think you go play music out here and all, and what happened? You got infected. You infected your wife, and now your whole household has to quarantine, and you die. You're supposed to be a pillar in the community, and you out here doing foolishness, telling you, oh, just believe Jesus and keep on going about your life. We the church, we the body, he gonna protect us. I'm sorry, say that again? Nope, you can't. You're dead. You know, and I'm just like, remember when I told y'all, Yahuah talks about that. If something breaks out in the camp, even Yahuah says quarantine. Go home. Don't be amongst the people. Go. Like that's what they're doing is a biblical principle. The church is a lot. Some of them agree, some of them don't. They think the church door should still be open. Why? Sorry. Because we can clearly see when you do that, the entire church gets infected. There's quite a few instances now where pastors refuse to close their doors, all in the name of we the church, and God is going to hear us, and God is going to heal us. Oh, well, did he? Because you're in direct disobedience, and that's proven because now most of your church and their families have been infected by this. That is not wisdom. That's foolishness. And that's the thing. It's like the church has been so blinded by emotion and entertainment going on in the pulpit that they are completely blind. They are completely blind, and they're dying early because of this foolishness, believing Yah is gonna come save them and protect them, and they out here. And I'm just like, some of them, they do recover, thank Yah. And I hope that time that you were sick, you actually thought about what you just did, and you gained some wisdom, and you start keeping the commands and following the law. Otherwise, you might not be so lucky when the next plague that comes around, you might not make it past that one, you know. So that's why I'm just like, guys, please go read this. And some people, Christian Bible, whatever, call it whatever you want. It's good principles to apply to your life to stay alive. It teaches you how to operate in relationships between one another, what not to do to people. And that's for real. It's not just, although Yahuah said his people ought to follow these, because it just teaches us how to be good or holy, set apart all the way around to all nationalities whom we deal with, and all those who want to be a part of Yahuah's community or to worship him or to serve him. They are to follow the same commands. You know, you can't come in here, you can't come in my house acting like a vagabond. You can't go out there in the streets treating people like they're nothing. He said, I don't stand for that. You know, he said, I'm not going to treat the person, the stranger, any different from what I would treat a blood-born son or daughter of, you know, my family, of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He said, I don't operate that way. He's fair all the way around. So it's good for all humans on the earth to follow. And sometimes I just don't understand it. They take it and they done just made it this whole religious book, and it should not be. It is good advice and teaching for life, no matter where on this earth you may be or what nationality you may be of or whatever, you know. But yeah, so what I'm saying is our people, we really, and not just our people, all people need to gain wisdom, and they just kind of need to follow directions, you know, keep the commands and stop being foolish. They really just stop being foolish. You know, for those of us that are keeping y'all's commands, we'll realize that when this stuff starts coming around, especially when it's affecting the food, he tells us these are the things you should put in your body, you know, because we'll realize those of us who actually keep these, what talks about, I mentioned before, it talks about the mark of a beast, but it also talks about the mark of Yahuah. He said, go out there and mark my people, those who grieve over all the sin that's going on in the land, and all the wickedness and all the unjustness that's going on. He said, mark them. Those are my people. They're crying out to me for righteousness and justice to be done in this land. And he gives us guidelines to keep our bodies in good working order, to keep us alive. He said, don't eat these types of meat. Don't eat these types of meat. And some people, well, why we can't, you know, when the church is like, oh, just bless it with prayer and we're going to be good. No, you keep on doing that. You follow that. You wonder why you got like high blood pressure and all these other things because he told you not to eat it. Now you compromise your immune system, and Rona is walking the streets. And Rona got a cousin coming up behind her, and she's vicious. She ain't got here yet, but she coming. And you still out there acting a fool. Start eating more fruits and vegetables, the things that actually give this body life. Nick said one report also spoke to this, whereas some of the pastors were saying that their congregations do not have internet and etc. And this is all they have as believers and parishioners. Don't they know how to pray? They got Bibles in their own house. Like, all that is foolishness to me, and they're making excuses. And I can't say all of them, most of them are like, I could say so much. I could say so much. That's why, I don't know. I don't know that they're still asking people for money, but I do know some churches are still asking their people for money, even when they tune in on the internet. Like, even if you're not even using your church equipment, you're recording yourself on your phone. Are you still telling the people to send in their tithes and offering and stuff? What you should be telling your people is like, when they go out, keep their money and get food and stuff, get supplies for their homes. Get things that's going to sustain their families. Why ain't you home too? You home too, right? Why are you still, and aren't your people like most of your people not working? They're at home, and you telling them to send their last bit of money, so they're supposed to send their money to you while you recording your video, not even using the church equipment that costs money. You're using your cell phone to record videos now and upload it to your Facebook social media page so your parishioners, your members, your people can see it, and you're still telling them to send the money in. Everybody at home using their cell phones. Most of your people not working, but you still telling them to send their money in to you? Like, how? That's the kind of, it burns my buttons, y'all. It really are. So Texas and 8 other states will not shut down their churches. You said Texas is, Nikki, or not shutting down their church? You said states will not shut down. So Texas and 8 other states will not shut down their churches. Oh, you were saying they are about the pastors still asking their people for money. Okay, yeah. So I don't know. People can take their chances with that going to the church if you want to. But I mean, you can't tell people if they've been infected or not, especially if they aren't showing symptoms. But let somebody cough, everybody turning their head. You know, like you should have been at home anyway. Why take that chance? Especially, if you have a family and small children, why would you take that chance on possibly being infected and taking it back home and possibly putting your entire family's life in jeopardy? And especially if y'all don't eat the best diet, if y'all eat fast food all the time, y'all eat that church folk Sunday we go out to eat, or we make this big meal, fried chicken and all this stuff, and all this grease clogging up your arteries and your heart. Why would you do that? You know, so people are not being smart, and it's like, what's that? It's like the term, it's a lot of these people out here with their faith or whatever, and they're crying out because they're scared, but they're like, yes, Jesus is going to save us, but they have zeal without knowledge. You know, it amazes me that people will still eat from, yeah, they don't know if the people in there have been infected or not, or people in there have been infected and are being disgusting and coughing and doing stuff to the food. How can you tell? How can you tell? I'm just like, Father, this is beyond me. So, but that's all I wanted to say about that, y'all. And be safe out there and go on daily. Just practice good habits. Remember, when you go out, keep your nose, your mouth, your hair covered, whatever. I know I ain't got to tell y'all that the ones, but I know y'all. But still. Oh, something I did want to mention, because my sister mentioned, I thought it was just me the other day. It was was it the day I came over your house, Alicia? I came to drop something. What day was that? We didn't even touch. We just kind of like made a exchange real quick. Nobody touching anybody. We still use sanitizer or whatever. But when I went outside and I didn't say anything to my mom and my sister said something, I was like, yeah, I went outside, my skin was itching. What's up?
Did you print that off? That actually yesterday.
I put it up there. I need to stick my laptop in there to actually print it off.
I told her when I was this morning.
You said last night you was going to do it.
Last night you was going to do it.
Give me a second. I'm about to log off. I'll stick it in there because it's already set. All right, y'all. So, but when you go outside, I noticed, I had on long sleeve, but it was kind of pushed up a little bit, but I noticed, I don't know if it was the pollen or what, but it started making my arms and my arms and my hands start itching. I was like, what in the world? So when I came in the house, of course, I showered and stuff, but I didn't say anything about it. But the next day, my sister said something. I was like, do y'all notice if y'all went outside, something is changed in the air? So I only want to say, I'm not sure if any of y'all experienced that. It could be the pollen. I don't know. But it is. It kind of, I'm like, oh, this, So I'm extra careful and I got to run out today. So I'm going to make sure my arms are completely covered, y'all. So I got to go ahead and end this. I got to print off some paperwork real quick. So thank you for joining the reading day. Remember, I will see you Sunday. Sabbath is tonight. So let's go ahead and read the blessing real quick, y'all. And I'm going to post what I was telling y'all about China. The blessing comes from Numbers chapter 6. May Yahuah bless us and keep us. May Yahuah make his face shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuah lift up his countenance upon us and give us his peace. That is Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. All right, y'all. I love you, and I will see you bright and early, 7:30 Sunday morning. Peace.